Go. Hello, Internet. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
And you're listening to...
There's binary.
Yeah, fuck it. You're right.
Yep.
We need to switch to Skype, because Ike won't fucking shut up.
No, I'm talking over you now.
Welcome to Just Cool Enough, the show where Ike interrupts Eric.
Moo.
By the way, this is Bizarro World, because we all know how it normally goes. Hey, guys, quick announcement. If you're listening to the show right now, send us your emails, please. Why?
Also, maybe some more of this Bundaberg diet ginger beer. I've been drinking the regular for a while now. I just got my hands on the diet. It's 25 calories, which I expect, when I drink diet, I expect 0 calories, and this is 25, so that's bullshit. But so far, it's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure you burn 25 calories just by breathing on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It doesn't seem to have the bite, but also it hasn't been in the fridge very long. It's not very cold.
Wait, what is this? What are we doing? A root beer review show? Actually, I like the way it sounds.
Ginger beer.
Ginger beer.
Solid.
The root beer review.
I like the Bundaberg. It's nice. It's got a nice bite to it as ginger beer. This one doesn't seem to have the bite so far. I'll have to go through the pack and come up with a more solid. This is just initial first out of the box impressions. What I like about Bundaberg is it's a solid ginger beer if you're into that kind of stuff. And the bar that a lot of my improv friends go to after shows, the Pikey, serves it. So I can order that, and it looks like I'm drinking. Like I put it in a nice thing, and it looks like I have like an actual drink, and I'm not like a coward that doesn't drink.
You're faux drinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, okay. Like there's a pressure. There's a social pressure to drink, and I've been trying to buck the trend, but I'm really bad at it. Like, do you ever you're at a party and I'm just not in the mood, and then everybody's like peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, and you're like, fine. Like that's had to happen to you, right?
I know peer pressure never bothers me.
You're actually Ike is the source of the peer pressure. Like
that's why it never bothers me.
Ike's always the botherer. He's not the botheree.
The peer pressure never bothered me anyways.
Oh, that was so sad, Eric. Just the way you sang it.
It's a sad song, guys.
No, I've been like trying to cut down on the amount of drinks that I've been having just for health reasons, and then also I kind of over drinking a lot. I think that comes with age.
Yes,
no. You guys are both older than me.
Yeah, but that's because when you turn 21 and everything, you're like, wow, I could do this thing I couldn't. I could do before, but now I can do it legally. Let's go fucking do it. And now that you get to like 29, you're like, yeah, well, I've been there, I've done that, and I don't really want to spend another morning throwing up in the toilet. It's not as fun as it was.
See, I've always held it really well. I've never had I can't remember me ever throwing up. I came very
because you were
close.
so blackout drunk at the time. You just
maybe. I mean, I do remember like there's two levels to there's social drinking Joe, which is pretty much just a louder version of me. Then there's Robusto.
There's a louder version?
There is. There's Robusto, which is maybe you had a little too much. And then there's full on blackout drunk Bonito. And that's like I'm like a Pokemon, right? But I have 4 like different evolutions, and Bonito is spinning around on the floor, underwear, like in a different location in the socks, just like yelling things belligerently, and even if it's at a bar, like that's it. And if I could survive that and not throw up, I'm pretty sure I could do it. I could hang, but I don't need to go there. Like once you go to that top part, it's like, where do you go from there? I climbed Mount Everest of drinking. Now what?
I don't know. I mean, I don't drink, so I can't.
Have you ever been blackout drunk? Either of you?
I've never blacked out. The worst I ever got was I got so drunk I couldn't really. Like I could see, but my eyes refused to focus on anything like for any amount of time. So I just was like in just a I can't fucking. I felt like my retina's detached or something. I was
right.
Like, I can't look at things.
That's Robusto going into Benito right there. Like you're like, oh god, can't see so well. Yeah, I think that's a sign that you may have went a little far.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was like I was like I'm just gonna go to bed. I can't.
And then you just kept saying that as you're walking into the wall in front of you.
Yeah.
I can't,
And
I
then
can't.
I went to bed, and then somebody threw pizza at me for going to bed so early. I didn't realize till I woke up, and there was pizza on my bed.
You party fouled.
Or
It was
did you actually have did you bring pizza to bed with you? And
No,
fell
I
asleep?
mean I know it wasn't me that brought the pizza there. Like I remember what happened. You know, I've never forgotten what. Like I've never been so drunk. Like I don't remember things.
See,
But then
that's
again,
scary.
I haven't really given a solid shot. Like you know.
I know. A few weeks ago, I got Joe's new co-host for his tech show, blackout drunk, that he didn't remember anything. Like we were at like a Buffalo Wild Wings, and he's like, "I'm hungry. I want to get like the ice cream nachos." We're like, "Go for it." And then later he's like, "Let's go. Let's leave. Let's get the." And we're like, "Dude, you haven't even gotten your ice cream nachos yet." He's like, "I got ice cream nachos." I don't remember getting ice cream nachos.
See, like, there's two kind of blackout drunk people. There's like the funny guy that's like forgetful fun guy, and then there's angry blackout drunk person who wants to fight people. And I think that's why I've always been so scared, because like that's my inner psyche and outer psyche is just kind of like militant sometimes, and I'm afraid that I might just be an angry blackout drunk kind of guy. But I don't know because I don't remember.
I mean, I was watching Real Sports, and they were talking about the whole idea of like weed and stuff in sports now, because there's this whole thing now where it's like 4 states now it's perfectly legal to buy it recreationally, and it's still like super legal for players. And they talked about in Colorado at Denver Stadium, a lot of fans have noticed the people at tailgates are a lot less rowdy, because instead of arriving at 8 in the morning and drinking for 4 hours before the game starts, you arrive at 8 in the morning and smoke pot for 4 hours, and there's less fighting. Like, people are much more mellow now that they get high instead of getting completely shit-faced before the game.
See, like, I mean, weed is much less destructive than alcohol, right? Like, I mean, isn't that just proven? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even a user of that kind of substance, but I'm totally behind like the like, yeah, let's just, if it was legal, I would be like, if there was like a weed bar somewhere, I'd get bonitoed for sure.
There is, and they built one across the street from the stadium too, so apparently. So yeah, I mean,
did they really?
Yeah.
I think one definitely belongs. Like, Colorado's one of those stadiums, like one of those countries. What is it? Oh, states. That's it. Colorado's
Are you high right now?
Yeah, Mile High Stadium, right? That's the name of the stadium. But yeah, that makes sense. Cut down and fight, like the really bad like grudge matches. I know between like Ohio State and U of M, there's always a big grudge match for their college games. If all the student population could just get real high, and then just let the whole stadium gets a contact high from the student section, and then, like, everybody's like super chill and mellow, like the band's just like missing notes and things, and players are just kind of lackadaisical and just walking around. I think it could work.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
World would
that?
be a better place.
So, I mean, like, we talked about drugs, alcohol. Why not sex? No, let's not. Never mind. It's a terrible idea.
One day I'll have it.
One day they'll lift the ban. My mom told me it was illegal.
Yeah. And so did every other girl I've ever asked for. Oh, I would, but it's illegal for just you. It's weird, just you. I'm like, God, that sucks. You're like, yeah, I know. We all know about it. And I was like, really?
Really?
I had no idea.
Darn it. My mom told me that I should that I wasn't allowed to date till I'm 35. So that was some solid advice.
Have you told her yet that you're married to a woman?
Yeah, she wasn't so excited about that. It was really heartbreaking. No, it was actually that was some. So I want to talk about mom advice. Like, like there's like, don't stand next to the television when it's raining out because you're gonna get electrocuted by electrocutes. I'm like, oh, thanks for the science, Mom. Like I don't know if
You should go
that's
to
true.
Top Gear. You're awesome at this.
Right. But like one of the really solid mom advices that I got was actually about ladies, and it was, don't get in a relationship until you're out of college. Just don't do it. And I think that was some solid momming right there for me at least. Because there's just so much, you change so much from the time you're a young lad to a young adult. You know what I mean? Like from high school to college age, you change a lot, and you keep changing. I think you change your whole life, but I wouldn't know.
No, I stopped. I stopped right after high school. I didn't
You're
change
stunted.
after that.
You
Yep.
totally stunted your growth. But like I was like, that's some good mom advice. I wanted to kind of spread that around. Like, hey kids, don't get locked down in a relationship until you're out of that, stuff, because it's just, it's not worth it. There's so much to go out there and check out. So, I don't know. Are you guys ever get into like solid mom advice that you're like you couldn't appreciate then, but like you're looking back at it, you're like, all right, good call, Mom. I'm glad I heeded your words on that one.
Not that I know of. Not that I'm sure my mom isn't full of advice, but it's usually like growing up. It was either my mom or my dad going, "Why the fuck would you do that?" Like it was always like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you, an idiot? You're better than this." I'm fucking, god damn it! Like that was just, it was a series of those. Like, why would you think that? Why would you think that was a good idea? What about that seems smart to you? I don't know. What were you thinking? I don't know.
Aggressively disciplined, but with your words.
Yeah, and it was always my fault. It's not like my parents were like, "Oh, my parents are so overbearing." I've admitted it before, and I'll admit it again. I was a real shitty kid. I got into a lot of trouble. I broke a lot of shit. I did a lot of stupid shit, and that I got in trouble for, rightly so. And that's why I don't want kids, because they always say you have a kid just like you, and I'm gonna fucking.
My gosh.
My kid's gonna be a little piece of shit.
Speaking of kids, just a quick shout out. I'm an uncle now. Like
Nice.
I turned into an uncle from the time I talked to you last till now. I turned into an uncle because my brother-in-law Casey and sister-in-law Chelsea had a strapping young child.
How are you
a
related
baby.
to them?
By law.
Oh, okay.
They legally have to.
They have to acknowledge him.
They legally have to acknowledge me as the uncle.
I was trying to do the math. You're like I thought you were gonna be like my sister-in-law and my brother, or my brother-in-law and my sister, and then you're like my sister-in-law and a brother-in-law's cousin got a. What?
Well,
Italians are weird.
I guess if you go by that logic, I'm already an uncle like 70 times because, when you're Italian.
It only counts if Anthony or Mikey have ever said that those kids were theirs, and they have not. They're too cool for that.
Well, no, but like in a big family, and like I'm sure you can appreciate this as being fiancéed to a Portuguese person. Like everybody's an uncle somehow, or everybody's an aunt somehow. Like, oh yeah, this is my aunt so and so. This is my uncle so and so.
Is this
Well,
like
I was trying to do the family tree when I met my girlfriend. She's like, "Well, we're gonna go over to my aunt's house for Christmas," and we go over there and like, okay. These people are like 80, and your mom's like not. So I'm trying to do it. Like, well, actually, these are my mom's aunt and uncle. So I'm like, so they're your great uncle. Yeah, but they're uncle.
Yeah,
They're
like
aunt
I
and uncle.
have.
But
It
like,
doesn't
yeah,
matter how many times away they are aunt and uncle.
Yeah,
Right.
I remember I have my Aunt June who is my grandmother's sister, so it's like she's still Aunt June,
Like the whole family tree thing's really weird because I have the same case too, where it's like I've been calling this guy Uncle Al my entire life, and then I'm like, wait, I just like sat down and realized this. I'm like, wait a second, he's Uncle Al, but he's my mom's uncle. So what does that actually make him? And then I'm like, wait, I've been
Weird
calling
guy.
his daughters. His daughters are my aunts, but I've been calling them my cousins my whole life. Like it's just like really.
And then there's
fucked up
that
and
whole
weird.
thing where like it's like your mom's best friend who's not in the family but always
Right.
around his aunt something,
Yeah, it's like a weird name too. It's like we have all these Italian names, Agata, Malia, like, and then there's just like John, like Uncle John. You're like, what? Who's Uncle John? And it's like, don't worry about it. Like, oh, okay, don't worry about Uncle John over there. He's just gonna, like, I like that though. It's like the big family thing is a fun dynamic. I don't even know how I got it. Oh yeah, I'm an uncle, so that's awesome. Congratulations, Casey Chelsea. Good job on doing it, and then 9 months later having a child.
Doing it and doing it well. Sorry you didn't
doing it
pull
well.
out.
Doing it and doing it and doing it right.
But you know, like I was always like, okay, this is the thing I wanted to talk about. I haven't. I don't care about baby pictures at all. But now, suddenly, like within a day, within a minute, it changed. Right? Like I'm like fuck babies. Babies are dumb. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I totally understand that like you made a little life. That's really good. Like I want to see the baby pictures because that's like part of my family now. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah. Well, that changed really quickly. So it scared me. I'm super scared now because it's like I just changed my mind about holding a child because I'm super proud about being an uncle.
Because
What
you're
the
super
fuck?
clumsy and you might drop them.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
This is your Uncle Joe, but you can't ever see him because we got a restraining order against him after he
No,
dropped
I
him on
have-
the floor.
This young Joe, he's in that room behind the plate glass.
No, like an easy solution to carrying toddlers: put them in a large piece of Tupperware and poke holes in the top. Easy. You just
Leave a little piece of lettuce so that they have something to eat.
Exactly. You put a little lettuce in. You make sure you want to keep them warm. Make sure they're fully clothed and everything.
Yeah, you gotta
good.
put a heat lamp on them. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of lizards.
Lizards.
That's what I'm
That's
thinking.
what it is. It is. I was the next.
They're really
step-
close. I can see why you would have gotten confused.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Babies
stop
are the
feed-
ones that eat crickets, right?
Yeah. You feed the crickets to the babies. They love
Live
the
mice.
live ones.
Yeah, live ones. Not the freeze-dried ones. They don't like those.
No, those are gross. They like the live ones the best. They just stick their little baby tongue out and whip, just grab them
Yeah.
right out of the air. Yeah, make sure you keep them warm. They're cold. Babies are cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Just put them
that.
on a rock with a heat lamp for a while, and they'll be great.
Yeah. You'll see them just laying there with their mouth open.
It's You know, I heard something with babies, like if you just flip them over, they'll pee in your hand, so you always want to hold them upright. So it's very important when holding babies.
I don't know that about lizards, so the bit died for me.
Oh, I think actually, see, I'm getting lizards and turtles confused. Aren't turtles lizards?
No, they're similar. You're thinking babies again because like I had a baby for a couple of years and I didn't like it, or I felt like it didn't like me anymore. So I had my mom take it to a creek and let it free.
Trying to though, get a lizard to drink out of a bottle with formula, pain in the ass.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's the
It's
thing
so
is
hard.
like when when lizards are teething though, that's the worst. They just get a good grip on you and just a
What I
weird
hated
feeling.
is I had a lizard for a while too, and just saving up for his college, it just got ridiculous. Just like putting a little bit away. College is expensive for lizards these days.
In other countries, lizards are just
Obama.
taken care of from the day of birth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
My mom used to tell me that when her lizard was going through college, she didn't have to pay any tuition.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I wonder if you put a heat lamp too close to the lizard, if they'll feel a burn of some sort.
Of course, they're sensitive, smooth-skinned creatures.
there, yeah.
They wake you up in the middle of the night crying.
Oh, that's the
I
worst.
don't know.
I
They're
remember-
weird-shaped heads when they're young, though. Just what gets me. I can't. They look like small aliens.
Dude, it's so weird. It's so like I'm holding this thing that came out of my sister-in-law.
We're still talking about lizards, right?
Yeah, lizard.
Yeah. Well, my sister-in-law is not a lizard, but
No, but people give birth to lizards. That's how it works.
But it was just like it was so weird, and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, now I have to. I want to be the cool uncle. All right, like I want to be like, oh yeah, I went to Timbuktu and picked up this awesome music box, and you just make this little hand signal, and it's like an animatronic man dancing around. He's a one-man band, and you just it's very cool, very. And then like the kid's like, what the fuck is this? But then like when he's like 32, he's looking back at it, and he's like, Uncle Joe and Aunt Sarah were really cool. I didn't realize it at the time, but they got me a lot of cool little things. Like I want to be that uncle, or like Uncle Rico out of Napoleon Dynamite. I can go either way. So I'm an uncle now. That's what that segment was.
Nice.
You
Solid
like-
second.
That was solid bit right
To a
there.
listener.
Our listeners.
Well, while you were doing adult things, I was doing some of the most adult things these past 2 weeks. Starting off last week, I did an incredibly adult thing of going to play laser tag.
Oh yes. That is adult. That's real combat, dude. That is fucking adult shit.
Yeah, I hadn't been since I was like a kid, like a real small kid, since like middle school. So it was interesting to hop into that. We played 2 rounds and then went to a bar because we're adults. But it was fun because the arena wasn't super big or like I don't like. Last time I went, I was a kid, so I have no frame of reference for how big the place. It seemed huge at the time, but I was a kid, so how the fuck can you tell as a kid? But this one, it wasn't super big, but it was 2 levels. So it had an upstairs and a downstairs, and it was a real solid arena. The first round I didn't do so well, and the second round I found a corner and that had this really nice there's a window and a line of sight. I just basically was just constantly pulling the trigger and hitting everyone, and I got shot 3 times, but I did pretty well for myself. I climbed the ranks pretty well. A lot of us did real well. The only problem was there were 5 small, middle school age children that just dominated us. In every step.
They're so tiny and fast.
Yeah, they're so fast and so good at it, and their hand-eye coordination has not been dulled by age. So they really did dominate us.
Can't you beat them with tactics though? Come on.
I mean, we tried, but they're really because these kids didn't give a fuck. There was a sign posted: no running. These kids running. No kneeling. These kids fucking kneeled. No laying down. I watched one kid lay down on the ramp and just fucking like fucking American Sniper, just bam, 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 bam. Luckily, I was on the other team, so I shot in the back while I was walking by. But yeah, these kids did not give 2 shits about the rules.
Were you allowed to shoot at them while they were parachuting in?
I mean, if there were an ability, I wouldn't have been surprised if I were running around and I just saw a belay rope drop and then them belaying down from the 2nd story. It's you could have taken the fucking ramp. I mean, just one of them going down upside down carrying 2 guns spinning. Could you
just going nuts.
And then flipping, stopping Mission Impossible style, just inches off the ground, and then
We're detonating some sort of laser bomb.
Yeah. I mean, these kids fucking dominated us, but we did pretty well. I think it's interesting because the sensors normally it's front, back, and gun, but this had sensors on the shoulders, so you'd be leaning around a corner, and then a big bright glowing thing is shoot me here. I'm fuck. So you gotta aim you gotta really angle your body and try not to lean your shoulders out around cover and stuff.
Were there any mirrors at your laser tag place?
Yes.
Bouncing shots off the mirrors?
There were straight up mirrors all over. I mean, not all over the place, but there was a good number of mirrors,
and
it was nice.
Because
I was I wonder if this'll. Yep, I can shoot people. It was nice because the guns. They had all the guns had names of animals on them. So when you were shot by someone, you'd see the name of the animal pop up, not the person. So you couldn't quite tell unless you knew the guy's animal beforehand. But it was nice because you'd be fuck. It's Wolf shot you. I'm God damn it, Wolf, stop shooting me.
What was your call sign?
I was elephant both times.
Nice.
Yeah.
You just never.
I was
forgot.
I was 16th out of 22 the first time, and then 8th the second time. So
do you have war stories from your laser tag days?
Well, I mean, I still try to go to laser tag often because I really enjoy it. But you can run around at the ones I go to, and I'm usually the one who's kneeling down and doing shit. And the best experience I had recently was going to laser tag and there were kids that I had back in when they were in kindergarten, or now 3rd grade, and they were there. Look, it's Mr. Dodger. And they're hey, shot me! I'm yeah. I had one kid run up on me and from nowhere shoot me, and then he ran away.
And
But
then
as he was running away, because I was dead, I just followed him back to his friends. It's like, I shot Mr. Dodge! And when I came back online, I shot him and all his friends. It was like, yeah! And I walked
Use
away.
your super blast, your
That was-
super shield laser thing.
That was one of the things, because the little light panels glow whatever color you are, unless you're shot out, and then they don't glow. So you'd be running, and some guys like will run past you. He's like, "Oh, you're red and blue," and you'd be like, you tell him, and sometimes it's fun. It's like, I'm blue, and then just hope by the time you turn red, you can get a shot off.
See, like whenever I played laser tag, it was always with my brothers, and we were fucking 501st Airborne style. Like we're like thunder, flash, thunder, flash. I'm like 2 tangos, left side, and just not open up fire until they're in our kill zone. Just you know, like we have our rotations down on who's using their special when. Like we were a 3-man SEAL Team 6 in laser tag. I don't think there's ever been a laser tag like round where I wasn't at the top with me and my two bros. There's an element of like weird bro talking that just happens in our heads where we have like a thing down, and then also we're just tactically minded because we've been playing paintball and everything, so people don't stand a chance. Like all these little kids running around, I'm just knocking them off like Ewoks, just like getting killed by like ATSTs and stuff. It's a good time. We always post up. I love laser. It's such an adrenaline rush. Like every time I go, I'm like, what? Why don't I go to this more? Is there a laser tag league? Can we join this?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that too, because this is, I guess, the group I went with. It was a rather large group. There were like 16 people, and this is like the 3rd time they've done it in like 12 months or whatever, or 2 years or whatever. They try and go like fairly regularly every couple of months. I was like, fuck, I didn't know this was a thing, but now that I know, I'm gonna be here all the time.
Right? Yeah, it's totally a thing. I mean, I would join a laser tag league, and you know another thing is they make it easy for you because like in paintball you gotta buy ammo. You already have the ammo. It's light. Like what a simple solution. Shoot people with light. You don't have to get dirty. I mean, you can get hurt. Like I was looking the other way and just like ran in to a board, and the board just kept going. Like I ran through part of the laser tag thing, but I always treated the rules are there for. They're meant to be. Yeah, they're kind of. It's a cover your ass kind of thing. Like you run a laser tag joint, they're like, "Hey kid, don't run while you laser tag." But really, it's just like, hey, we have to put this here, so if you are running, you can't sue the shit out of us because you busted up all your front teeth.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's there.
Because you were lying on the ramp and Jordan stepped on you. Because
Jordan, I'm here. You're in a full laser tag ghillie suit, just like posted up on a ramp somewhere. Like it's like your Nerf foam and like blacklight camo kind of thing.
Yeah, you're just wearing straight up all black and then like straight like black face paint and stuff like that and like a ski mask and like people like you're standing there and people don't see like some guy walks past and then like eyes open up in the wall and then you step forward.
Just rifle bottom.
You have like a K-bar knife, but it's like a that shoots light, and you just like hold it up to their neck and go and like just.
I want to know what frequency like laser tag. I want to hack the laser. I want to cheat it now.
Well, because it's not from what I remember. I don't know if all the guns are like this, but I remember when I went as a kid for a friend's birthday party, they actually brought the gun out and like a disassembled one and explained it. The laser that comes out isn't the thing. It's just so you can see where you're aiming. It's actually an RF.
It's just so it's
it's
RF.
infrared.
I was gonna say okay, infrared, dude. That means we can. Okay, guys, I'm about to ruin laser tag for a bunch of kids right now. like it's just if you did some infrared like. Just spread the signal out. Puts like not a silencer, but like a dispersing thing.
Yeah, like a shotgun kind of disperse.
Yeah.
You're just BFG 9000. All these kids, making your own sound effects. You gotta tape up your sensors, just like you're in a mech suit. I would be walking all slow, making noises. I was like, there's a spot. Like, I want to be like a raid boss. Like, there's a spot behind me. You have to hit me on my cooldown.
Yeah, it's like you fire and fire and fire, and then eventually your gun beeps, and that's when you have to like kneel for a second and give them a chance to get behind you. And
Like a real life raid bot. Like, I want to LARP some like Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Like with laser guns. Can't we do that? Like, come on. Right? No, nobody. It's just
flip set 3-hole.
Like there's like you're LARPing some Starship Troopers, and you have to like go into the mixed bathroom, and then there's just like, you know, girls in there, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I saw boobs.
Really quick.
What do you mean? It didn't veer. I just had a weird
Yeah,
fantasy.
like weird. I didn't say veer. I said weird. How do we end up in the girls' bathroom while playing Laser Storm?
And
because in Starship Troopers, they had a mixed bathroom.
And the whole point about that is it doesn't matter because they're all soldiers. They don't think of each other as men and women in a bathroom. They think of each other as soldiers first. It's actually really smart. It's nice. But also, you know, you're 12 years old and boobs. So.
Right, yeah. I'm just saying, like, that might have been the first time I saw some boobs on TV. So it's like one of those things that are just in there. Thanks, Andy Prescott. Those are actual names, by the way. It was his fault, Mom. Thanks for letting me spend the night over his house that one night.
My parents didn't censor me, but I had a friend, Brandon, who he came over and we watched RoboCop, and his dad was real mad. Like he had to like talk to my parents. He's like, we don't want Brandon watching. And Brandon was like this.
RoboCop?
Yeah, Brandon was like the sickest of all. He was like the most like
all those nude metal robots in that movie. Yeah.
Well, no, there was violence and stuff, and it was R-rated, so his parents like. But Brandon, like, my parents didn't censor me, and I was like a normal kid, and like his parents were like,
yeah,
constantly censoring me.
That's exactly what comes to mind.
He was the fucking like the creepy kid. Like he had he had like pictures of naked women that he cut out of magazines that he would like keep in his closet that his parents didn't know about. And shit, and like they were like, "Oh, we don't want your son influencing our son." I'm like, "You have no idea. Your son is like the worst of them."
Like, you still want to be his friend though, right? Like, were you his friend after that, or?
I mean, yeah, until he moved away.
He got sent off to boarding school.
Honestly, I didn't know about the naked women thing. I thought we were close. He lived 2 doors down. I thought we were like besties. We hung out all the time, and then fucking he moved away, and then my friend Ricky, who I've mentioned on the show all the time, my best friend Ricky, was like, "Yeah, remember that? Like, did he ever show you the pictures of naked women he had in his closet?" I was like, "No."
What? I don't believe. You know, I think Ricky's a liar. I don't believe him. Brandon was a cool dude.
I don't think Ricky would lie about that. It wasn't like, "Oh man, it was so cool." It was like, "Man, that kid was weird." Remember? And I was like, "Yeah, he was okay." Yeah.
Oh, so this is like reminiscing years later.
Yeah, kind of it wasn't like
after the fact.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know. I thought we were cool, Brandon. What the fuck?
Wow, man,
we're just bros.
Just calling out all of our childhood friends.
Yeah,
and another thing, Ben, remember like when my dad? Actually, I was just telling this story the other. Like, I want to address the thing on your face, but I gotta get the story out first. There's a thing on Ike's face. It's a head grabber thing, but so
there's a thing on my face.
We were talking about childhood times, and you guys remember those like loud toys? Like you press a button and it makes like a siren noise. There was an ambulance that had like 3 buttons. This is like woo woo boo boo boo, all the noises, right?
Yeah.
So my dad was working 2 jobs at the time, and it's Saturday. I'm like, yeah, Saturday. I can't wait to play with this toy that I just borrowed from Ben. You know, I traded Ben some shitty thing, and then now I got this awesome ambulance. And I'm sitting there just in the family room making all this noise with it, 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. And my dad just got done working like a double shift, and he had to like go in again on Saturday because he's trying to put food on our table, and I'm just sitting there being a stinky, dumb kid. And he just came up and smashed this thing with his foot. It wasn't my toy, though. So I had to go to... My mom was like, oh, my God, you smashed Ben's toy. My dad just went back to bed, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? So, like, that's a memory. That's a childhood memory. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Don't have loud toys. So
when your kid has a loud toy, you're going to smash it.
Yeah, it's tradition.
Because that's what happens. You pass it down from generation to generation.
Right, that's a Cariati tradition. The dad steps on your friend's toy.
Yeah, I remember this one time. I was a friend was I was at a friend's house and he was showing off all these Star Wars toys. He had a bunch of Star Wars toys, and we were all kind of there's a group of us. We were all kind of looking at them, and I was like looking, and there was one that looked different. I looked at, and it looks like it. We were like, I think this is an old GI Joe. It doesn't look because it had like the articulation of a GI Joe, and it was only like the torso and like one arm and like half an arm. And I was like, yeah, I think so. And then like I tried to move like the half of arm, and then the piece broke, and I was like, ugh, and I could just kind of put it back, and I didn't tell anyone. By the way, that was last night that happened to me.
No way!
Yeah.
No way!
By this one time, I mean last night.
Please tell me more about your Toy Stories.
No, that was about it. I went to my improv practice at our coach's house, and for some reason he had him and one of the guys on my team were looking at his collection of Star Wars toys. Some of them, pretty vintage, and they're just his GI Joe, and it was already broke. It's not like I fucked it up like anything. Like
oh man, Cobra Commander, why?
I kind of like because it was so old, the plastic just like when I tried to it just kind of snapped a little bit of the plastic. I was like, oh. And I don't know if anyone saw or if I just kind of made it, but nobody brought it up. They're like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah.
Or my dad's gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
Like you have to he has to tell his dad. This grown man
his dad
has to tell
left him and his mom and sister when he like I don't know 30 years ago. So
good. So he has to tell his dad, and then his dad has to talk to your dad, and then your dad has to buy him a new G.I. Joe toy because that's how things work. Your son, like, his estranged father. And
his dad will talk to my dad when my dad gets out of the hospital. He'll track down his dad, and then it'll just be.
Just the tragedy is what makes it funny, Eric.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, what's on your head, man?
It was the loot crate from last week.
Oh, that's the ovaries.
But there was a rubber band that came in it, and I was like, what the hell is this rubber band all about? And I went online, looked at somebody else unboxing it. They're like, what the hell is this rubber band about? I'm like, okay, so it's not like there was a rubber band that accidentally fell into my box. And I did a little bit more looking. It was like, oh, it's to attach the plushy face grabber to your face.
Loot crate. So this. Oh, okay, I see it now. I had to Google it. For the audio listeners, our very popular audio podcast, Just Cool Enough, Ike downloaded or what did you? You bought a loot crate.
Yeah, I downloaded.
You would download a pizza.
Would you download a car? Ike undid his loot crate yesterday, or last show, whatever it was, and he had a thing on his head, and now it's on his head still.
It's a face hugger from Aliens, but it's like a plushy cute one.
Is it from Aliens? I thought it was from something else.
No, it's the face grabber from Aliens that lay their babies inside your mouth.
Oh yeah, that's
no.
gross
They
thing.
stick their weird tube penis down your throat and lay them in your chest cavity.
You know who's the director to that?
Several people.
I don't know. Stanley
Kubrick. There have been a bunch of them, and they all had different directors. David Lynch did one.
No, the one that had the face grabbers first.
Oh, the first time? I mean, the first one was what's his nuts? The guy that did Prometheus.
Oh yeah, that guy. Because I know movies. I'm asking you because you're the expert. I don't know that. Like, okay, Joe. Hey,
Ridley
what's the
Scott,
car thing? Got it.
Ridley Scott? I feel like it's Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott did the first one. James Cameron did the second one. David Lynch did the third one, and then I forget who did the rest of them.
I don't know what media I was consuming, but I was hearing about the first Aliens movie, and they're like, yeah, we made it purposely weird and sexual because we wanted them to feel because they were talking about how sex is they wanted that person to feel totally powerless, kind of like a rapey thing, and like that was the biggest form of disempowerment that they could think of. So that's why they made the alien lick the lady and like put the thing in the mouth and stuff. I was like, ugh, gross. But
well, I mean, have you ever seen some of like H.R. Giger's original like concepts? Like they're all sexual as fuck. Like
right, yeah. And maybe that was one of the names that they were mentioning. He's the prop guy.
He's the artwork. No, he's the artist who came.
He's the designer of the aliens.
Okay, H.R. Giger.
It's Giger. Giger.
He does. I mean, he does some really incredible, fucked up, awesome art. There's a great documentary on Netflix about him, which I love because he's like totally like he's this old like he's like Swedish or German, and he's old as fuck, and he's all about like his house is like super metal. And he's like and then my wife died, and but then like his cat will come up because the most metal you are, the more you love cats. He's like, my wife died, and I was depressed and almost killed. Oh, come here, Mr. Snuggles, I will pet. But he says it in like whatever language he's speaking, but
In German, Swedish.
yeah, he's like, my life is pain. Oh, here's Mr. Tinklebutt. I love him so much.
I need to find these clips. What is this documentary?
I think it's just called. I think it's like Dark Star or something like that. It's on. Just search H.R. Giger on Netflix. You'll fucking
Giger
find it.
art.
Yeah.
H.R. Giger.
His stuff is super sexual. Like if you ever go check it out.
There's like one of just
Oh wow!
I've seen butts.
I've have seen a lot of this
It's
stuff.
dicks coming out of butts and going into other butts.
Yeah. There you go. Well, this actually explains a lot about the Alien trilogy.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, he has some cats too. You're totally right,
Yeah.
Eric.
He lives in this weird park with this he has this fucked up sort of amusement park feel, like everything's like decayed amusement park shit, and he's like his house is covered in it's just painted black and covered
Dude,
in
it is
actual
metal
skulls.
as fuck. Holy crap.
But he has like a billion cats, you know.
Like you do.
Yeah, like any good metal guy does. He's like,
Man, I feel like this guy doesn't have any demons because he let them all out, and there they are. This is cool.
yeah,
Well, I know what I'm going to furnish my new broadcast room in.
yeah.
Well,
I'd be
if you ever get the chance to check out, the band Korn with a K, Korn.
Yes, yeah.
Geiger did the mic stand for Korn, and it's really cool looking.
Right. Yeah. Holy shit, that makes a lot more sense now.
And it looks kind of like one of the aliens from Alien.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. You're bringing up repressed memories. The Korn, the band, right? Like I listen to their music a lot, and they were like, "Who's your favorite band?" It was one of those times you're supposed to introduce yourself in like 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "I like Korn," and they're like, "You don't like Korn at all." And they're like, some like asshole kids, because you know how kids are assholes. They're like, "Name like 3 songs that they make," and I'm like trying to name off songs and getting all nervous and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. And I just remember being so flustered. So now whenever I see the Korn logo, this terrible memory pops back up of me being like so embarrassed in class. And like I spelled it wrong. I like reversed the R and the O. Like
Kron?
I did. I spelled it wrong. I spelled Kron. I did. That's what it was. He's like, you don't need to like anything about it. You need to spell their name right. I'm like, I'm just bad at spelling things. And then
Please don't judge me.
Yeah.
Shut up, Jeffrey.
His name was
Parents are
Ricky.
poor.
Yeah. Wherever he is now, I'm sure he's a very smart, educated person now.
Shut up, Ricky. Your parents have an above-ground pool.
That's maybe. Shut up, Ricky. You're so cool with your Janko jeans.
You're Kron.
Kron. You guys want to listen to some Kron with me?
Shut up, Ricky. Your parents drive a Mazda Miata.
Hey, don't fuck with Miatas. Those things are awesome. And you can call them MX-5s if you want to be manly about it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Although I
don't.
will say, I realize I can relate to you slightly when it comes to driving because I remember for the longest time you're like, I just like to drive, just like fucking get in the car and feel better about myself, drive for a few hours. I really like driving, like I enjoy it, but I think yours is more of like I think yours is like that whole Detroit thing and the car culture thing. I think honestly why I like driving so much is because for the past decade, driving was a thing I saw in movies and television and couldn't do.
Ah.
And now it's this thing I can do. Like I'm sure I'll get over like how much I like driving, but now it's like oh my god, I'm doing that thing that I used to do that I do in video. It's like oh man, I played a bunch of video games where I did karate and now I'm taking karate. You know? Another 6 months I'll get bored with it and be like, oh, I don't want to fucking drive places.
Don't worry, there'll be automated cars soon enough. You'll be able just to. My dad bought a new car and it has lane departure warning and like radar cruise control. so you don't even have to drive. You can just bounce off the lanes and then just set like how close you want to follow the car in front of you. And he has massage and heated seats too. So I was just like sitting there driving his car, just like, this is too good. I pulled up to the office. I'm like, why?
If you start to fall asleep, it gives you a lazy handy.
It's the only way to keep a man awake. Actually, I've used that as a line before. FYI. Oh, we've been driving for 45 minutes. I'm so tired. I don't know how I'll stay awake, lady. Yeah, that worked. I mean, it worked for. That only works for the ages of 16 to, depending on how educated the girl you are, probably like mid-20s. After that, just stops working. So get it in while you can, kids. Thanks for the advice again, Mom. See, that's a callback because there's no advice my mom gave me.
No, I got that. I understand.
There you go. Ike, take us out of the rut, man. What do you got going on?
I got no advice that my mom gave me that was particularly good.
I went to an arcade. I went to arcades on Monday. That was fun.
Dude, did we have like the same kind of week? I went to an arcade too.
I don't know.
I went to a hockey game.
Oh my gosh, you did.
Well, we're telling my story now. Ike, fuck up.
We'll get to Ike's story soon,
No,
Eric.
no.
Eric,
We're talking about my story now.
guys, settle down. Jesus, am I gonna have to turn this car around? Honey, I'm getting really tired.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this trip.
Yeah, I went to a friend of mine. It was their birthday, and they decided they didn't know what to do, so they were like, "Hey, there's an arcade like a couple of blocks from where I've lived that I've never been to. Let's just go there." So like a ton of people showed up. Like a bunch of people like replied to the Facebook invite saying they were going. Like 35 people, and in Los Angeles that means 7 maybe will show up. But no, it was like 20 plus people showed up, and then we all kind of migrated to the. We had to pregame those that drink because they didn't serve alcohol or anything. So a bunch of people, we met up at the place and then like at somebody's house, drank, and then walked to the place. But it was an awesome arcade because like I haven't been to like a really proper nice arcade in a while, and it was cool because the company that runs it, like they just sell arcade machines. So they have a lot of like really like they have older ones, they've got newer ones, they've got some weirder Japanese shit that was fun to play, and then like like skee ball and like the shooting pool and stuff like. So it was like this really decent arcade that we spent a lot of time. Like we spent hours at this arcade. I was like, man, we gotta come here more often. This place rules.
I had the opposite of experience of arcading because we went to the arcade and we kind of reluctantly went there because it was seriously like -20 out, very cold, and didn't want to go do anything. We're like, okay, let's just stay inside. We were getting some bubble tea, and we went next door to the arcade. It's called Pinball Pete's. It's in Ann Arbor. It used to be a place that was like a big standby for a long time, and it used to be keywords there. There's a sign on the door that says or on the wall that says, "Has Pete gone crazy?" And then it says no, and then it gives 14 reasons why his arcade sucks. And it's called Pinball Pete's, but it's I'm gonna call it Stinky Pete's from now on because it's just terrible. He kept prices at the same level that they were from 1991 on all of his machines, and all of his machines are probably from 1991. So it's like I can go and just play a video game and have a much better experience. And I'm like, oh, let's play Daytona USA, and you like jump in and like the seats like sagging to the left, and you're just like, oh, everything's all sloppy and shitty. Like, oh, but it only cost $1, and you're just like driving around the track. And we had like you know what I'm talking about, the Daytona USA arcade game, right? Everybody can race each other, and it's a big line of the cars. So our whole group gets in the cars. Half of the group, basically their cars only turned left. They could not go right at all. They were just running into walls, having a terrible time. And like that's like the whole thing.
Left. I mean, the cars all go left anyway. If they all only went right, it'd be really fucked, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. So they only went super left, and they were all just hitting the walls. I'm like, will somebody fucking calibrate these things? Like 17 machines ate like everybody's quarters. Like the basketball machine had a bunch of deflated balls. The DDR pads were fucking worn out. And then like I'm reading the sign, it's like, Pete, he has to get guys out of retirement to come fix these shitty machines, and don't worry about the thing. And that smells really bad in the back room, and it's like that's just Pete just sitting there, and it's just a terrible. Like everybody talks about it like it's some fucking gem, because like it's like it was cool 30 years ago or whatever. But going there now, it's like going to I don't know, a retired drive-in movie theater. It's just a bad time. It's like going to an old arcade that hasn't been upkept. It was the total opposite experience. I'm like, I need to go to like a real arcade, because this it just left a bad taste in my mouth, and it smelled bad in there. Oh God, I'm sure yours was much better, Eric.
Yeah, and it was nice. I mean, I will say, when I first jumped onto Time Crisis 2, the gun was not calibrated, so it was like firing about like 2 inches to the right of where I was aiming, which got over. But that was like the worst, like the lowest moment was when I was like, oh, I have to adjust my aim. Like I don't know if I probably could have calibrated it. I just didn't think about it beforehand. I just got into it. I'm like, first game, but yeah, we played. They had Fast and the Furious 4-player game, which we played a couple of rounds of. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people. We spent a lot of fucking fake coins that we got from real coins.
I did. My favorite game that I played there was the pod racing game. I was like, and I kept quoting Star Wars. I'm like, this is pod racing, and just like throwing all my episode 1 out there, and everybody that was with me couldn't appreciate any of it. And I'm sitting there, dropping all these lines that Anakin dropped, and I'm like, nobody's getting it. And after like 2 or 3, I'm just like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna win this race and be done. And like, I mean, I was Zabalba, of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, duh. It only made me want to go to an arcade more. It made me want to go and find a really good arcade, because I want to recapture that really good arcade experience that you just really can't have at home, even with a badass computer. Like the peripherals are what make it fun,
Yeah, I played Police Story or whatever it's called, where it's that one where it's a shooter and you take cover by like leaning and ducking, like physically ducking, and that was fun. Like you can't do that quite at the same as home. I mean, and you can't play skee-ball at home.
But it's just not the same. Like, what you went to a hockey game? I didn't know you were a sports fan.
I went to a Boston Bruins game last night. They lost terribly.
Yeah, against the Ducks, eh?
Yeah.
No,
I've mentioned this to many of my friends. It's not that I'm not a fan of sports. It's that I would just rather play the sport than watch the sport.
Hockey is pretty fun. Have you played ice hockey, like on skates and stuff?
I haven't played ice hockey on skates because I barely get on the ice.
What about rollerblades? That's pretty similar.
I haven't done that either. I mean, I've been on.
What about field hockey? You got field hockey? What about field hockey?
Have you played a hockey video game before?
I have. I haven't played hockey.
What about air hockey? You play air hockey?
Yeah.
Did you go to Stinky Pete's and play shitty air hockey like I did?
Did you know? I wanted to throw that out there. There's a Stinky Pete's pub nearby where I live. It's kind of a little hole in the wall that's kind of a little trashy looking inside.
Is it good though?
No.
Okay, well, it's probably owned by the same guy that owns Pinball Pete's here.
They sponsored my softball team when I was a coach for a softball team in college for intramural softball, and so afterwards we had to go to Stinky Pete's pub as a condition of them sponsoring us and giving us some money for the shirts. So we went, and I just remember drinking right after a softball game, which I hadn't had anything to really drink all day long, and then I remember I was supposed to be on duty as an RA that night, and I went back to the apartments where I worked, and I passed out on the floor in the bathroom. Like, not passed out like drunk blackout pass out, but I was like, oh, I need to kind of like sit down for a second, and I like laid down on the floor in the bathroom because that's cool, and I just fell asleep for a few hours. Totally missed my check-in, but
Stinky
whatever.
Pete's. It's just like you
Nothing's more attractive than Stinky Pete's.
With a name like that, like it's kind of like if you ever meet a girl named like Dan or something, they're gonna be like super athletic and hot, or just a mess. It's like the Stinky Pete's. The bar's gonna be like this high end place where they're serving like hors d'oeuvres off of like these fancy plates, and you can get a mixed drink that actually has. It's not just like margarita mix. It's like we chopped up the fruits, and it's like this is a real margarita. and we serve, German wine, spiced wine called, I don't know, other stuff. Or it's just going to be like, we pissed in a glass and we called it beer. Also, we cut it with some Bud Light. You won't taste the difference. Don't worry. And it's a plastic glass. Like, we lost our liquor license. The cops come in. Keep the cups
come
low.
in. You brought this.
Yeah, I've been to a place that said that before. I don't know if they're around anymore. Don't think so, actually. Like, you go in, it just immediately smells like mildew, and you're like, oh, God, what is with this place? Like, we got drink specials. Like, get your dirty drinks and your disgusting cups away from me.
Ladies drink free. Ladies don't want to come here. Ladies,
Yeah.
ladies do not feel they do not feel safe here at all.
There's a girl in this corner named Dan. You're like, oh, that's not the one I was hoping for. She's really into sports. Stinky Pete's. So wait, what did you have a thing about the hockey game that you really enjoyed? Like, did you? I mean, I know your team lost real bad. That sucks. But did you enjoy yourself?
I find pro sports or just any kind of sports games to be super interesting in the sense that like people will watch them on TV religiously and like be freaking out about whatever's going on, but they'll be like focused on the game. Oh shit, get out of the way of the television screen. I'm trying to see what's going on. But you go to a hockey game or a sports game, and it's like people just sitting around shooting the shit and just talking and doing whatever. Like if they score, awesome. But it seems like it's more social at a game than it is watching a game.
Oh yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Because like going to a live event oftentimes is the worst experience you can get. Like, I want to go to more Formula One races. I've been to 2 in my whole life. But I want to go to them. But I know that they're the worst experience because all you do is you see the car just... Unless you get, like, one of the really expensive seats on a turn or you're at a really good track. And the same thing, like, with hockey or football or something, you can see what's going on live, and that's great, but you get a way better experience at home. You sit in your recliner, you drink your cheese.
Your cheap beer because it doesn't cost $18 for one fucking glass that's half the size of a can of beer.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time I went to a live sporting event, but I remember I saw the Women's World Cup final. I went to a bar and watched it, and that felt like a stadium event where people were all very focused on it, but we were all watching it on various screens. Like the entire bar was just packed, and we were all watching screens.
For me, that's a way more comfortable environment. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to worry about leaving.
It's Los Angeles. You do.
Okay, you don't have to pay as much for parking because stadium parking is always really expensive. And then right,
instead of $25, it's $10.
Wait, really? Is it cheaper?
No, I mean, it depends. If you
what kind of bizarre world do you live in?
It depends on where you go. I mean, if you're like downtown or in the touristy part of Hollywood, there's not a lot of street parking, but there's a couple of lots that are like $6, $8 lots.
Those are reasonable. That's reasonable price.
Yeah. Or if you can try and find some metered parking, or maybe street parking if you find some.
Detroit 1. That's where you want to park. It's $20 for the whole day. You can park there. Just saying. This is some inside baseball knowledge. We're talking about sports, right? Inside baseball?
We're talking about lizards. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Sorry,
You've been blackout drunk this whole time.
Oh my God. I think I'm full on Robusto right now. Oh no, Benito, I can't see a thing. Oh my gosh. Guys, we need to wrap it up.
Yeah, speaking of not seeing things, I don't see us continuing this show for much longer.
Oh my gosh.
This is our last episode. That's what he's trying to say. I didn't mean to spoil it, but
episode 315, unless we get some donations.
Or some emails.
Please send your emails to theshow@justcoolenough.com. Again, the email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. We need your thoughts, man. The year is almost all, we got a whole month. 1/12 of the year is almost gone already. Send in your thought. How has your year gotten off to a good start or a bad start? Let us know. theshow@justcoolenough.com. Also, you know what we need? We need to thank Chris over at Shout Engine for making Shout Engine, and thank me for taking care of all those support tickets this week. Good job, Joe. Also, thank you to Todd over at Alpha Geek Radio. Alpha Geek Media helps us do the live stream, and we're going to be bringing some great stuff to you coming up. And I'm not saying that like just like a little thing like, oh yeah, we got great host this week. It's like, no, we got some big things on. Yeah, good. We got a great panel, guys. Great panel.
I'm contractually obligated to tell you that it's going to be great.
Every show is the greatest show we brought you. The greatest show on earth, just cool enough. I guess we're not plugging anything because we got to end it.
I'll quickly plug. You can check out if you want to see some nice higher res photos of my miniature painting. You can go to my Tumblr, dunkor.tumblr.com.
dunkor.tumblr.com, and I did jump on Tumblr, and it was a host of me and my place and also Eric's paintings, so it was like a really weird mix of things.
Yeah, I know. I get that too, because it's like I hop on there and it's like all the girly nerdy goodness girls, like I'm still following them because why not? And then like the one porn star who I follow, like so it'd be like look at these pictures of my dog's tits, pictures of dogs' tits.
Some painting stuff. You're like, whoa, Tumblr got weird.
Then some behind. Was the behind the scenes of movies blog. So it'd be like, oh, Indiana and Jones, blah 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 blah. Also tits.
Ike, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, if you get a chance, go on YouTube and check out Sick. That's S-I-C, Sick Vita, V-I-T-A. They just put out a new music video a few weeks ago, and really cool. One of the guys in the band, his girlfriend works for Journeys, the shoe company,
cool.
And she submitted the music video to Journeys, and they're going to be playing it worldwide in all Journeys stores all over everywhere.
Hell yeah! Oh, that's fucking cool,
so
man.
They're looking forward to it's going to be playing in Germany and Russia.
Is Sick Vita? Do you know the name of the song that it is, or the video?
There was Ad Nauseum was the old one, and I think Northern Lights is the new one.
All right, and yeah, cool. Good plug, man. Well, I don't have anything good to plug because your guys were so good. Eric, take us out.
All right.
Northern Whispers.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You can always check us out on our various social medias. I'm at Dunkor, D-O-N-C-O-R.
You could follow me on, let's just do at Twitter. Joe Q Carr on Twitter, Joeqcar.
And you can also, I'm going to use this another plug spot, check out Joe's new show coming out with Fatal Hawk, a.k.a. Dan Chaplin. They'll be doing Just Tech Enough. Is that the final decision on the title?
I don't know. Stay tuned to the stream. I think we're going to release the pilot episode on the same thing that Just Cool Enough is on, just to kind of get some feedback. And then.
But until then, have a wonderful weekend and fuck off.
Oh, dude!
Roll you later.
Man, I'm getting double teamed now. I was in the middle of talking about my tech thing, and then Eric just cuts me off. No regard, no respect.
I want to tell you about how pathetic my social life is, so you have to.
Oh, okay.
That's why
I'm cutting
I end the show.
Please, okay. Stop being broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Stop.